Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at some more Christmas boxes for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so we got the reveal of the Warhammer 40,000 boxes. We're going to be doing some in-depth breakdowns on them, talking about how many points are inside, what's next, will it go along well with the combat patrols, and now we got the Age of Sigmar boxes as well. So we'll take our first look at those, what's inside, and then again we'll do some follow-up videos on those also. So we have a total of 4 brand new Age of Sigmar BattleForce boxes coming out this Christmas. Let's take a look. So first we have the Founding Foray for Cities of Sigmar. So pretty nice looking box right here, nice little model count, some important units that we often see on the tabletop. So first we have 10 of the Free Guild Fusiliers, your shooty boys. Then we have the Ironjawz Great Cannon for some heavy long range firepower. We have a Fusil Major on the Ogre Warhulk, who's got a little shooting of his own and then also can command your Fusiliers. And then we have 5 Free Guild Cavaliers for a little bit of speedy flanking support. And then we have a Free Guild Marshal and Relic Envoy to lead your force. And then finally we have the Free Guild Command Corps for some nice hero support. So overall, pretty nice box right here. This is typically a lot of the stuff that you see in a Cities of Sigmar army. So nice general composition, good model count. One really nice thing also about these Cities of Sigmar is that all of the models are basically brand new. There's a little bit of overlap between the actual launch box that we saw when the Cities of Sigmar first came out, and then also the Spearhead box as well. But for the most part with Cities of Sigmar, you're definitely going to want a couple of little bits of overlap here and there. And I think generally speaking, this is a nice looking army, definitely one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of the range. All the models inside look absolutely amazing. Nice composition, and overall just nice box from Games Workshop. Alright, and then moving on from there, we have the next battle force for Flesh Eater Courts. We have the Charnelgrand Jury. So again, nice looking box right here. It would have been really cool to see Usharan in this box, a nice big centerpiece model. Realistically, it's always nice to see a centerpiece model in the box. But to tell you the truth, with Games Workshop's recent price increases, when they do put a big model in the box, it definitely starts looking a little bit on the sparse side. But for Age of Sigmar in general, I really like to see the big models, big characters, monsters, as essentially the game focuses around them. And it's not uncommon to hear Age of Sigmar referred to as Hero Hammer. So we start off with Justice Gorymane, a nice new character. Definitely a cool model, leaning in on the body horror of the Flesh Eater Courts. And then we've got 10 of the new Crypt Guard. And then we've got 2 sets of 3 of the Crypt Horrors, or alternatively you can build the Crypt Flayers. And then finally we have 2 sets of 3 Morbeg Knights as well. So quite a bit of overlap with the previous boxes that came out. We earlier this year saw the launch box for the new Flesh Eater Courts range refresh. And then also a decent bit of overlap with the Spearhead itself. Now that being said, the actual Flesh Eater Courts range is rather limited. There's not a ton of different stuff in it. But I'm not a big fan of this actual box. The components aren't necessarily bad or anything. Just the idea that you're getting 2 sets of repeats in a single box set with an already limited range definitely feels unnecessary. Now the Crypt Horrors and Flayers are really good. They're nice models. They hold up even though they're a little bit older. The Morbeg Knights are absolutely amazing. I love these undead bats with ghouls riding on top. Very, very cool models. Awesome detail. Definitely a big fan of these. But again, I'm not really sure why Games Workshop went in so hard on doubling up on 2 of the different units in this box set. Because realistically, there's only 6 different units in this box and 2 of them are duplicates. So if you want to run these as reinforced units, you're really only getting 4 different units in this box. So while it is a nice box set, and we'll talk a little bit more in future videos about how well this goes along with the Spearhead or what else you would want to add into this army, I would have much rather see Usharan in this box set, as he is by far one of the best centerpiece models, probably the model of the year this year for me from Games Workshop. Absolutely amazing on the tabletop and in gameplay. And while once again Gorymane is a pretty cool character, part of what the Flesh Eater Courts really need is multiple characters to give the various buffs and the synergy that they provide for the army. Much like the Cities of Sigmar army, it relies on its characters heavily. So in this box set, just having Gorymane doesn't feel like a lot of thought went into this box. So nice box, overall cool, but realistically, as far as composition is concerned, very, very disappointing. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. Alright, and then moving on from there, we have the Ironjawz Wrekkamob. So we didn't actually get a spearhead for the Ironjawz, which is definitely disappointing, as they're basically the only faction that I can think of that doesn't actually have spearhead rules at the moment, which is very unfortunate because this is one of my primary Age of Sigmar armies. Also, with the range refresh and all of the new models that came out, a lot of people were holding out for like a nice box set deal. So that is definitely exciting, seeing their first actual like big box set coming out since the range refresh. And I'm a massive fan of all the new models. They're super fun to play. I definitely lean in on destruction myself in Age of Sigmar. Very nice model count on this box set as well, relative to some of the others. A nice big centerpiece model, and definitely one of my favorites as far as composition. So the Ironjawz Wrekkamob is led by a Tusk Boss on Maggotkin, which you can also build as either a Maggotkin with Hack and Crew or Maggotkin Gouger. So you've got 3 different options for how you want to build this model. Again, it's a new model to the range, so that is definitely cool as well. And then we have 2 squads of the Weird Brute Wreckers, who can also be built as the Brute Ragers. Again, a new kit from Games Workshop. And then we have 2 units of 10 Ardboyz. Again, brand new models to the range. So nice model count, decent composition. If you're going to put these into units of 6 or units of 20, you're only really going to have 3 different units on the board. So realistically, if this is going to be your starting army, you're going to run them as like smaller squads. Again, we see 2 of the 5 units duplicated in this box set. We see a very light character count, as you really only have like the Maggotkin. And because we don't actually have a spearhead yet for the Ironjawz, we can't really talk as much about like the overlap or like expanding onto this. So definitely light on the characters. We do have a nice centerpiece model, quite a bit of duplicates inside this box set, but overall I'm pretty happy with this, as I already have a lot of Ironjawz myself. So getting a nice big box set, all of the models included being the brand new sculpts, definitely nice to see. And the last of the Christmas Battleforces for Age of Sigmar, we have the Maggotkin of Nurgle, the Shudderblight Cyst. So once again, decent little model count in this army. So led by the Harbinger of Decay, an absolutely amazing model, and one of the ones that came out more recently. And then we have 2 sets of 2 of the Puscoil Blight Lords, and then 1 of each set can be built as a Lord of Afflictions. Then we also have 5 of the Putrid Blight Kings, and then a 10-man squad of Rotmire Creed, one of the previously available warcry warbands. So nice looking models in this set. Definitely a cool little paint job and everything on these guys. It is a relatively limited model range, so there's definitely a little bit of overlap with the Spearhead box set. The Harbinger of Decay and then the Rotmire Creed are really the only new models that this range has gotten over the last few years, so definitely nice to see those included in this box. It's got a little bit of chaff, a little bit more of the heavy infantry. It's got a nice character that's mounted, and then you have the option to do like a 2-man squad and a couple of characters on the Plague Flies, or alternatively you could build like 1 of the bigger units or 2 smaller units. But again, we see duplication inside this box set, so definitely a little bit on the strange side. We see quite a bit of duplicates in all of the Games Workshop Christmas boxes this year, with the exception of a couple. And while some of the ranges for Age of Sigmar are a little bit on the limited side, it definitely feels like unnecessary inclusion of multiples of the same units. We also only have 4 boxes for Age of Sigmar. Now, typically in the past, we've always gotten more boxes for 40k and a couple less for Age of Sigmar. So that's not necessarily surprising, but I think realistically, the composition on the Sigmar boxes definitely feels a little bit lackluster. Some of the boxes are heavy on HQs, others of the boxes are super light on HQs. Some of them have really nice model count, other ones are a little bit lacking. But I think realistically, in general, they just lack a little bit of soul, a little bit of diversity. I'm a huge fan of the actual models and the sculpts from Games Workshop in Age of Sigmar, but it definitely doesn't feel like a lot of thought went into these. So realistically, that's probably going to be it for the Christmas boxes. We will do some follow-up videos for 40k and Age of Sigmar as well, kind of breaking down the value inside each of these box sets, the savings over MSRP value. Also discussing the spearheads and how well these Battleforce boxes go alongside those spearheads, or combat patrols in the case of 40k. And then also breaking down the points and just how many points are in each one of these boxes, whether or not it's worth picking up 2 of them, whether or not you'd want to put 1 of these alongside the spearhead, and what else you might want to add in to get to that 2,000 point typical Warhammer game size. So let me know what you think of these Christmas boxes. Which ones are you most excited about? What kind of arguments or complaints do you have about them? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.